Well, there are two things, Chris. The first, I think, is that this is another attempt to perfect a missile capability that is targeted on U.S. bases in Korea and Japan based on the reports of what sort of missile it was. The second thing is that this is, frankly, North Korea's way of giving the finger to the United States and China before their big meeting this week, and to try to say to them they don't really care what the United States or China is going to do. As Will said, they are really set on developing a modern nuclear weapons force, a modern ballistic missile force, and it doesn't matter what the United States and China say.
Yeah, Mr. Chow, do you believe the theory that this is somewhat of a proxy thing? Yes, they want the capabilities, but they want the capabilities in North Korea so that they can get something to not use those capabilities. Do you buy into that, that this is a leverage measure, and if so, what would they want?
So I think there are a lot of people in the policy community that for many years believed that this was basically an effort to try to get into a negotiation with the United States, to be recognized by the United States, things of that nature. But I think things fundamentally changed when Kim Jong-un, the current leader, took over five years ago. And it doesn't seem like the North Koreans are really that interested in talking to anybody. There's a popular perception that the Chinese are pissed off at the North Koreans, and they are because of all the North Korean behavior. But the absence of high-level meetings between China and North Korea is because the North Koreans don't want the meetings. The Chinese are trying to get at them and trying to influence their behavior, but the North Koreans are the ones who are not interested in talking to the United States, to China, to South Korea, the Russians, or anybody else.
Will, you're nodding, and I've heard you report similar types of observations while in North Korea. How pronounced is it when you're there about how those officials talk about wanting or needing a relationship with the United States?
Well, they say that they really don't care about the United States. What they care about is self-preservation as a society. And, of course, the most important thing in North Korean society is the North Korean leader. They consider him the head of the society. You can cut off an arm or a leg, a.k.a. the people who live there, but you can't cut off the head. So they will do anything to protect the regime that's in place and the power structure that's in place, which gives Kim Jong-un absolute power. And they think if they have in possession a viable nuclear weapon and an ICBM that could deliver to the mainland U.S., that they are not going to face the danger of invasion like other countries, like Iraq, for example.
Seems pretty plain, though, doesn't it, Victor, that they don't face the threat of invasion, not in any real way. I mean, just look at the talk that's coming out of the White House right now, whether it's the Financial Times interview where the president suggests that the U.S. could go it alone, whatever that means, but then you see from the Secretary of State a nothing burger in response to this missile, saying we've talked about them enough. Is there really basis for a perceived threat?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, when we were in negotiations with the North Koreans and they would say this, we would respond to them, why would we want to invade you? You have nothing. You have nothing that the world wants. So I think, you know, what this does is it does provide ammunition for the Trump administration going into this summit to really put pressure on China to cut off financially their ties with North Korea. There's a lot more pressure that could be brought to bear on the regime to get them to understand if they really want to pursue this path, they're going to feel pain for pursuing that path. And so I think that Tillerson teed up a number of things in his last trip to China, and this visit in Mar-a-Lago will be a great opportunity to see whether the Chinese will deliver.
Victor Chow, Will Ripley, thank you very much.